The clock is definitely ticking in terms of how long Elon Musk is going to be able to stick around in Trump's administration. He's spending $2,000 a night in Mar-a-Lago to have unfettered influence over what Donald Trump does. And the thing is at the end of the day, Elon Musk is largely the reason why Donald Trump won. I mean, obviously it can't only be pinpointed to that, but at the end of the day, this dude invested like $200+ million into Trump's campaign. So just getting him out of there kind of is out of the question. I mean, absolutely, Donald Trump has the power to do that, but he hasn't done it yet. You know what I mean? Elon Musk pissing off half the MAGA base, that far right-wing white nationalist base that does not want any immigrants in here whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? American means white people to these people. But before we get into some of the comments that Steve Bannon made, I just want to point out how lame Elon Musk really is, right? I mean, this dude is what? He's 53 years old, I think. 53 years old, 50 something, mid 50s. And this dude spends all of his time online trying to court attention from right-wing MAGA folks, mostly people in their early to mid 20s. Kekius Maximus. This dude calls himself Kekius Maximus. Not only is he 53, he's the wealthiest dude on the planet, right? Like, bro, you're the CEO of like 50 different companies, and this is what you do. This dude goes into chat rooms pretending to be somebody else when it's so painfully obviously him. Like, bro, you're I don't know what's going on with you, bro. You're just you're a weird fucking dude on the spectrum, and you acting like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm obviously all love them autistic people, but this dude is doing y'all some shame, man. Y'all letting this dude drag y'all through the mud. No, I'm just talking shit, but yeah, man, Kekius Maximus, like this dude is so lame. He has like 12 kids, all of them hate him. Oh my god! But let's go ahead and get into this. You know, we done with the Kekius Maximus for now. Let's see what Steve Bannon has to say about this geek on the spectrum, so he says. All right, we're gonna get into it now.
DC, hang on. First off, it's not different. It's populist nationalists versus elite globalist. And when you say we're going to work this out, you guys, I'm gonna get Loomer's on here. She's banned. They're trying to ban Gavin Wax. You're going to be banned eventually by the free speech absolutist. The nerds don't take criticism. They're kind of, they're a little bit all on the spectrum, right? So they don't know, they're not deep in social skills. And I say, you can't run a country by algorithm. You can't run a country by the nerds that create their companies all employ a handful of people, right? And they're all they're all mathematicians, all about algorithms. You can't run a country like that. We're a country, not an economy. And people say, "Oh, Steve, you're condemning us to be a third world nation." Anything but. The American people rise to the occasion, and they're rising to the occasion now.
But again, when people like Steve Bannon say American people, that's code for white people. That's why everybody else has some type of acronym in front of it. You know what I'm saying? Like African American, Latino American, Asian American, because American means white.
You can't sit there and tell the American people this is a problem. We have a capitalist system with no capitalist. It's a concentration of wealth and power. And now you're seeing what they're doing with this, not just illegal immigration. Look, folks, they just brought 15 million people into the country.
Again, the idea, we just brought 15 million people in the country. All of a sudden, 15 million people poured across the border. It's, obviously the truth about that number is that most of these people have been here for years, a lot of them for decades. People who overstay their visas, that's the most common way undocumented immigrants are here. It's people overstaying their visas. Obviously, there's other people in the country just in that. But the idea that all of a sudden 15 million people just poured into the country, come on, man.
I was on David Sachs's show on on election night, and I told the guy, "Hey, yeah, we're going to deport all 15 million." He freaked out. It seemed like a pretty good guy, but I think this is a guy
deport 15 million people, which we know would destroy large portions of the economy for things like agriculture jobs, different types of service jobs, construction, and even this H-1B visa argument that's going on right now. Which is why Elon Musk is stepping up so hard for it, because the billionaires know what really does and doesn't work for their businesses, especially. They really aren't concerned with the broader public, obviously, but they know who's in their workforce. They know that you can legally pay undocumented immigrants, or at least people on H-1B visas who are here to work. Those people, as people like Steve Bannon and the Laura Loomers of the world have been rightfully calling them indentured servants, and cultures calling them indentured servants, because they are. The only reason that they can be here at the end of the day is because they're working for whatever the company is. And if they get fired, they're going to have to leave. Therefore, not only can you pay them less money, but also you can abuse them. They can't go to HR in the same way because they don't have as much leverage.
That put out yesterday's tweet said we want 1 billion people in the United States, bring in 5 million a year. No, we do not, and not going to have 1 billion people in the United States of America. People already say we're kind of overcrowded right now, particularly out west. The folks are saying, hey, way too much people. You have a bizarre idea of what this country is, no understanding of how we got here, and no idea of what we are going to be in the future. We are not going to be some anarcho libertarian, big tech.
Man, this shit is glitching like crazy.
Run by big tech oligarchs. That is not going to happen. Okay, we haven't fought all these wars and haven't gotten here to give it over to a bunch of geeks that you would stuff, and that they're all reacting, being stuffed in the locker in high school. They're having a reaction. DC Drano.
Yeah, that was, again, another tone deaf post. And, Vivek and I have not always gotten along. We kind of have a little bit of a truce right now. But, the American people are starting to see kind of what he believes on the H-1Bs. This is not a surprise. Breitbart wrote an article about this in 2023. He wants uncapped H-1Bs. And listen, it's the same as when the Democrats say, who's going to pick the crops? These new type of globalists are saying, well, who's going to do the coding, right? It's how about Americans? How about you pay market wages?
Yeah, but see, the thing, well, hold on.
For American employees. And
so look, again, the issue with that is, on its face, obviously that's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? On its face, obviously we want these jobs to go to Americans, but there's two issues with that. One, there's no infrastructure there for it. Okay, so in order for us to have more manufacturing jobs, we have to not only have the infrastructure for it, the factories, the workspace for people to do it, we also have to make sure that we have an education system that prepares our workers for such jobs, for said jobs. And then obviously, on the other hand, the issue with that is that Americans overwhelmingly don't want to work these jobs, don't want to work the agricultural jobs, don't want to work those construction jobs, don't want to work those service jobs. And then you got people like Elon Musk who don't want to pay people for that quality skill level. You know what I'm saying? So like, you can't talk about, that's the biggest issue with the tariffs. The idea that you're going to put tariffs on everything across the board and that's going to influence manufacturing to just come back all of a sudden. But that's not going to happen because we don't have the infrastructure for that manufacturing. So there's so much more investment that has to go into it. But the problem is that corporate America, which has been hijacked Republicans, been hijacked Democrats, but way more than on the Democratic side, Republicans are fully owned and controlled by corporate America. They don't want to invest in infrastructure. The reason Biden's infrastructure bill didn't go further is because Republicans would not allow for it to go further. Republicans voted against it, and then they took credit for it. Oh, look at all these jobs that came to my town. Because of the infrastructure bill that they vote against continuously, because they don't want to invest in the public. So again, like, if you can't talk about manufacturing and wages if you're not going to talk about infrastructure that requires lots and lots of investment, and corporate America is not interested in that. Hold up, my bad. I gotta put this back on the screen. My bad.
Mediocre. Sir, we just took back this country from the most hostile regime that has ever occupied it. American grit did that. Not every American is exceptional, but it is American.
Hang on. Whoa, hang on. DC, we took it back from them. They were a huge part of the problem. They were every one of these guys was hand in glove. Look, I saw them all come as supplicants to Trump.
God, this thing is glitching so hard. I don't know if it's my connection, if I need to sweep or what this is.
16.
Too much porn.
And what they did is they embedded in the administrative state and some elements of the White House and the administration, and they kind of got their way. And I said at the time, when Zuckerberg and these guys start coming around the Oval Office, they're down there now with their $1 million checks, kissing the ring, but they don't have.
Well, that's the end of that right there. But again, at the end of the day, it's a little late to be complaining about this stuff now, because Elon Musk put over $200 million into Donald Trump's campaign, into getting him reelected. So you're not going to be able to just willy-nilly kick him out of there. No, that's not happening. But it will be very interesting to see how long this bromance lasts. Hey now, thank you so much for tuning in here at Politics and Paper. If you like what I do and you support my work, go ahead and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, and it really helps to support what we do here.